Hey y'all, happy Sunday. I hope everybody's enjoying their Sunday. I'm doing another voiceover. The Lord has me doing something different. I'm excited about it, so let's get to it. Today we're reading from the NIV version Bible, and we're reading 1 Samuel chapter 18 through 19. And chapter 18 is titled Saul's Growing Fear of David. And chapter 19 is titled Saul Tries to Kill David. So let's get to it. Starting at chapter 18, verse 1. After David had finished talking with Saul, Jonathan became one in spirit with David, and he loved him as himself from the day Saul kept David with him and did not let him return home to his family. And Jonathan made a covenant with David because he loved him as himself. Jonathan took off the robe he was wearing and gave it to David, along with his tunic and even his sword, his bow, and his belt. Okay? Meaning he took off his garments and gave it to David. Whatever mission Saul sent him on, David was so successful that Saul gave him a high rank in the army. This pleased all the troops and Saul's officers as well. When the men were returning home after David had killed the Philistines, the women came out from all the towns of Israel to meet King Saul with singing and dancing, with joyful songs, and with timbrels and lyres. As they danced, they sung, Saul has slain his 1,000 and David his tens of thousands. Okay. Timbrels are an instrument similar to a tambourine according to Oxford Languages, and lyres are a string instrument like a U-shaped harp with strings aligned to a crossbar according to Oxford Languages as well, just in case for who all didn't know what a timbrel was and a lyre. Okay, continuing. Saul was very angry. Saul was very angry. This refrain displeased him greatly. They have credited David with tens of thousands. He thought they have credited David tens of thousands. He thought, but me with only 1,000. What more can he get but the kingdom? This is Saul thinking to himself, because they sung, Saul has slain his 1,000 and David has his tens of thousands. So Saul was in his feelings like, why did they say I slain 1,000 and David slain 10,000? Just in case y'all didn't understand, because I'm stumbling over my words. Y'all know how the enemy get when the word of the Lord gets out. He gets mad, but he gonna be all right. So that's why he said that. Saul was talking to himself, like they said I slung 1,000, but David slung tens of thousands. So he was in his feelings. Okay. Continuing. And from that time on, Saul kept a close eye on David. The next day, an evil spirit from God came forcefully on Saul. He was prophesying in his house while David was playing the lyre, as he usually did. Saul had a spear in his hand and he hurled it. Hurled means he threw it with force. Okay, he threw it with great force. Saying to himself, I'll pin David to the wall, but David eluded him twice, meaning he escaped from what Saul was trying to do twice, okay, when he hurled something at him. Saul was afraid of David because the Lord was with David, but he departed from Saul. So he sent David away from him and gave him command over 1,000 men, and David led the troops in their campaigns, and everything he did, he had great success because the Lord was with him. Okay. When Saul saw how successful he was afraid of him, but all Israel and Judah loved David because he led them in their campaigns. That's the whole word with itself. When God blesses you, the anointing that God puts over you with the blessing, some people ain't gonna be able to take it. Okay, but we're gonna get into that a little bit later. Saul said to David, here is my older daughter, Amirab. Okay, I will give her to you in marriage. Only serve me bravely and fight the battles of the Lord. For Saul said to himself, I will not raise a hand against him. Let the Philistines do that. So Saul was trying to be sneaky, like, I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna let somebody else do it, like he handling David over to his enemies or something like that. He don't have power over there, only God do. But anywho, but David said to Saul, who am I and what is my family or my clan in Israel that I should become the king's son-in-law? So when the time came for Merab, Saul's daughter, to be given to David, she was given to Adriel of Meholah. Okay. Now Saul's daughter Michal was in love with David, and when they told Saul about it, he was pleased, right? Because now he got another angle at luring David in, right? So he said, I will give her to him. He thought, so that she may be a snare to him, and so that the hand of the Philistines may be against him. So Saul said to David, now you have a second opportunity to become my son-in-law. Then Saul ordered his attendants, speak to David privately and say, look, the king likes you and his attendants all love you. Now become his son-in-law. So this is Saul coaching his attendants, right? He'll coaching his people to tell David this script so he can reel David in to marry his daughter Merab. Okay? But no, not his daughter, Rab, I'm sorry, but Michal. So he wanted his attendants to tell David this script so he can marry his daughter Michal because she was fond of David, right? So they repeated these words to David, but David said, do you think it is a small matter to become the king's son-in-law? I'm only a poor man and little known. When Saul's servant told him what David said, Saul replied, say to David, the king wants no other price for the bride than 100 Philistines foreskins to take revenge on his enemies. Saul's plans was to have David fall by the hands of the Philistines. I told you, he was plotting, right? So he was like, he was throwing a rock and hiding his hand. You see what I'm saying? But David, agreed, because when the attendants told David these things, he was pleased to become the king's son-in-law. So before the time elapsed, David took his men with him and went out and killed 200 Philistines and brought back their foreskins. They counted out the full number to the king so that David might become the king's son-in-law. Then Saul gave him his daughter Michal in marriage, right? When Saul realized that the Lord was with David and that his daughter Michal loved David, Saul became still more afraid of him, and he remained his enemy the rest of his days. The Philistine commanders continued to go out to battle, and as often as they did, David met with more success than the rest of Saul's officers, and his name became well known. I'm gonna stop right there. That was chapter 18, and we read verse 1 through verse 30. And we once again we in 1 Samuel chapter 18, and it's titled Saul's growing fear of David. Okay. Saul appointed David, right, as king. But at this time, Saul was king, right? He was very fond of David. He liked how David, was a warrior. He was a fighter. He was a front line. He was a good soldier. He stood on business, right? Until people start acknowledging David as the same or as much as Saul, okay? Saul did not like that. So he began to fear. And normally when people fear, they get jealous, right? They start hating. They start sneak dissing, right? And they start plotting against you. That's what Saul was doing, right? He needed somebody close to David to lure him in, which he was already next to Saul, so I don't know what Saul was thinking, to take David out. What the Lord is saying, the ones who are walking into their promised land, okay? The ones that are walking into their milk and honey season. There are going to be people that are close to you that is going to act like Saul and try to take you out. Pay attention to your surroundings. It might hurt depending on who they are. But you need proper discernment in this hour. Okay? You walk into a different dimension. You walking into a different season. A lot of people's not going to be happy with that. Okay? So, some of your friends going to turn into foes. I said some of your friends because it ain't only going to be friends. It's going to be family members too. And the ones that's solid going to stay down. Right? But everybody can't go with you in this season. You're elevating, right? And everybody's not going to like that. So be aware of your surroundings, okay? Because there's going to be some people that's going to be hating real tough. Real tough. They was one riding with you, but an enemy ain't never a stranger. And somebody that's hating now, they been hating. Okay? And pay attention, because God can harden hearts and soften hearts as well too, because everybody can't go with you. God sent that spirit of evil and jealousy in Saul. Okay? And it's for a reason. You can go back into 1 Samuel and read, because Saul was his own demise and God took his hand off of Saul. So it's deeper than that. Okay? All right. So continuing, when we still in 1 Samuel, now we're on chapter 19. And it's titled, Saul Tries to Kill David. Okay? Chapter 19, verse 1. Saul told his son Jonathan and all the attendants to kill David, but Jonathan had taken a great liking to David and warned him. Jonathan is warning David about his father trying to kill him. So he said, my father Saul is looking for a chance to kill you. Be on guard tomorrow morning. Go into hiding and stay there. I will go out and stand with my father in the field where you are. I'll speak to him about you and will tell you what I find out. Okay? Jonathan spoke well of David to Saul, his father, and said to him, let not the king do wrong to his servant David. He has not wronged you, and what has he done? He has not wronged you, and what he has done has benefited you greatly. Okay? He took his life in his hands when he killed the Philistines. The Lord won a great victory for all Israel, and you saw it and were glad, right? Why then would you do wrong to an innocent man like David by killing him for no reason? This is Jonathan. This is Saul's son. Talking to him like, look, why would you try to do that? Because, Jonathan and David was friends. Jonathan took a liking to David. David didn't do anything wrong. Once, David became a part of Saul's team, he upgraded the team. He won many victories, right? So Jonathan trying to figure out David ain't did nothing wrong, so why would you try to kill him? That's how your enemy's going to be. They going to try to take you out because they feel like you stepping on their toes. And you ain't even did nothing to them. It's just the fact that it's you and it ain't them. Or it once was them and they feel like you taking a spotlight away from them. But baby, let me tell you something. Once God is in you and you got the Holy Spirit and the anointing over you, can't nobody take your shine. Can't nobody take your spotlight. It's a time and a place for everything. You are elevating. And a lot of people ain't going to like it. Okay? Continuing. We on verse 6, y'all. Saul listened to Jonathan and took his oath. As surely as the Lord lives, David will not be put to death. So Jonathan called David and told him the whole conversation. He brought him to Saul, and David was with Saul as before. Once more, war broke out, and David went out and fought the Philistines. He struck them with such force that they fled before him. But an evil spirit from the Lord Once again, but an evil spirit from the Lord came on Saul as he was sitting in his house with his spear in his hand, while David was playing the lyre, meaning a lyre is an instrument. It is a string instrument like a U-shaped harp with strings aligned to the crossbar. That is what a lyre is. Saul tried to pin him to the wall with his spear, but David eluded him as Saul drove the spear into the wall. That night, David made good his escape. Like David, like, look, okay, I'm trying to be humble. I'm trying to be, turn the other cheek or whatever, but now I gotta go because he's trying to take me out. He's trying to kill me for no reason. Okay, that's discernment. He got wise and he left. When you're in danger, people around you, listen, I get it. You know them, you love them, but if they showing you, right? If they showing you that they are trying to harm you and that they don't like you anymore, flee. That don't make you no punk. That don't make you no lame. That don't make you no, you're smart. If somebody is showing you that you thought once had a liking for you or love you, and now that you're leveling up and you're elevating and they are not meaning, they're not doing bad. They're just surpassing you and they don't like it. Right? And they trying to harm you by fleeing, you're being smart about the situation. Okay? So David fled. Okay? Saul sent men to David's house to watch it and to kill him in the morning. But Michal, David's wife, warned him, if you don't run for your life tonight, tomorrow you'll be killed. So Michal let David down through a window and he fled and escaped. Okay? Then Michal took an idol and laid it on the bed, covering it with a garment and putting some goat's hair at the head. When Saul sent the men to capture David, Michal said he is ill, meaning she was protecting her husband. Yes, Saul is her father, but David is her husband, okay? And they came to her house looking for her husband. So she lied. Was that the right thing to do? It was not. She was protecting her husband, though, because she helped him escape. She told her father's men he's ill, right? She knew that so they can leave because David already fled because she helped him escape. Okay? Then Saul sent the men back to see David and told them, bring him up to me in his bed so that I may kill him. Right? So Michal, Saul's daughter, he finna make his daughter a widow, right? Because of his own ego. Told his men, okay, because Michal said that David was ill. He told his men to go back to get him out of his bed and bring him up to him, right? So he can kill him. That's cold-blooded. Anywho, but when the men entered, there was the idol in the bed, and the head was some goat's hair. Saul said to Michal, why did you deceive me like this and send my enemy away so that he escaped? Michal told him, he said to me, let me get away. Why should I kill you? Right? When David had fled and made his escape, he went to Samuel in Ramah and told him all that Saul had done to him. Then he and Samuel went to Naioth and stayed there. Word came from Saul David was in Naioth at Ramah. So he sent men to capture him. But when they saw a group of prophets prophesying with Samuel standing there as their leader, the Spirit of God came on Saul's men and they also started prophesying. The Lord will make the enemies your footstool, okay? Saul sent his men once he found out where David was at, right? So they thought they was going to kill him, but God stopped them in them tracks and had them start prophesying, right? He's our protector. Please know that. But also, he give you a brain for proper discernment. So please utilize that, okay? In this hour. Saul was told about it and he sent more men. And they prophesied too. So he heard about the first men he sent to kill David, but they were stopped in their tracks because God stopped them and had them start prophesying. So he got mad and he sent some more troops. And what God do? He spent that block and did the same thing. He had them start prophesying. Right? He was protecting David. Okay? Saul sent the third time and they also prophesied. So finally, he himself left for Ramah and went to the great cistern of Siku, and he asked, "Where are Samuel and David?" "Over in Naioth at Ramah," they said. So Saul went to Naioth at Ramah, but the Spirit of God came even on him, and he walked along prophesying until he came to Naioth. I don't know why Saul thought him sending 3 groups of troops was going to slip through God's hands. If he stopped the first group, he was going to stop the second. He stopped the third one. So I guess he felt like they weren't standing on business enough. He was going to go himself. But what did God do? He stopped him in his tracks as well, and he started prophesying as well. God don't play about you. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. He never said it won't form. He just said it won't go through. It wouldn't prosper. So if God is revealing to you, there are enemies in front of you. God hear and see. He see things we don't see. He hear conversations we don't hear. Okay? If God is showing you, you might not like what you see because who it is. But baby, it is what it is. You better flee and go to safety because he's going to protect you. Okay? All right. He stripped off his garments and he too prophesied in Samuel's presence. He lay naked all that day and all that night. This is why people say, is Saul also among the prophets? No, God just utilized him in that state to protect David. The whole purpose of this point and this word that God had me tell y'all today, we in 1 Samuel chapter 18 and 19. Chapter 18 talks about Saul growing fear of David because David's popularity was outgrowing Saul, right? But David was under Saul's wing. Sometimes the student can become greater than the teacher, right? But that don't mean they're as great. That just mean they're good. And sometimes people that teaches people or mentor people or just cool and friends with you or family and loved ones, you know, as long as y'all on the same level of winning, you know what I'm saying? Don't nobody have a problem with it. But the moment you start elevating, the ones that are a Judas among you will be revealed. And they will start envying and they will start trying to hurt you and start sneak this and then backstabbing and doing this and doing that and the third. That's what Saul did to David. And the right people around you, which was Jonathan, which is Saul's son, checked his own father. You wrong. David ain't did nothing to you. David ain't do nothing but help this campaign, but help this army, but help. He helped us defeat. We won many victories. So what is the issue? What is the problem? It's going to be people in your corner that is going to fight on your behalf, but you have to fight for yourself as well. Faith without works is dead. If God is revealing to you the people that is now, once was a friend, is a foe now, you need to flee. He's going to protect you. And he's going to have other people that's going to stand 10 toes down for you. Jonathan checked his own father about David because he knew his father was wrong. Notice he didn't send Jonathan. He sent other people. Notice Jonathan tried to talk his daddy down about doing any harm to David, but Saul lied to his own son because his ego got in the way. I understand them people that you love. I understand whoever they are to you. Pay attention to your surroundings, okay? You are elevating. Everybody can't go with you. And the people that's hating on you, they know they can't. That's why they mad. Because the ones that know that they are in alignment with God's divine connection will have no problem. Want to know why? Because they want to see you win anyway. They with you even when they ain't with you. Meaning they don't have to be next to you to be with you. Those are the people that's going to stand strong and firm for you. But you need to separate from the people that God is revealing to you that want to hurt and harm you, regardless of the relationship. Okay? That concludes this word, y'all. I'm finna get y'all Sunday back. As always, I'm gonna end this video in prayer. Heavenly Father, I pray that the message you wanted me to get across to your children, that it came across. Those who have eyes will see. Those who have ears will hear. As always, I pray that they take each and every word back to you and take me back to you as well. Everybody is assigned to different people. Everybody ain't assigned to the same person, okay? I pray that we are all safe and that a harm and danger way. And like I said once before, any weapon formed against us shall not prosper. You never said they won't form. You just said they won't prosper. Okay? Whoever this word is for, I pray that they get it and they take it back to you and let you minister to them in a way only you can do. Okay? I love you all and God love you more. Until next time.